All right, welcome back to another episode of Casey Campbell's Videocast. Of course, Casey Campbell, Great Lakes Post. And now joining me is the one and only Orange Cone, Mr. Charlie Krall from ARCA.
Hey, Casey, how are you?
I am doing good, Charlie. So, of course, Charlie, the spokesperson for ARCA. He also goes by many other names, but we'll get into that.
Well, let's just use Charlie for today.
Let's do that.
All
So
right.
you got to be excited about. We're heading into the final showdown race of the year at Memphis. This was if I'm not mistaken, this was originally scheduled. So
This has always been the final event of the inaugural Sioux Chief Showdown. Thankfully, the schedule, all of the changes we did, thankfully those changes were able to keep this event in place. I believe it's pretty close to its originally scheduled time on the calendar, if not its originally scheduled time on the calendar. So, we're pretty excited about it. Obviously, there have been a lot of changes and a lot of challenges here in 2020. And that, I think, has kind of impacted some things on the car count side, particularly with some of our East teams that we have expected to maybe chase after this championship. But I think it has shown us exactly what we wanted it to show us, that, these three series can all come together and race competitively, and everybody will be on a pretty equal playing field. And, I think we've got a pretty good championship battle going on for the showdown between, two drivers the showdown was conceived for. Neither Ty Dillon nor Sam Mayer are eligible to come out and race for the overall series championship. So we're very, very happy to have these two talented teenagers going at it here for the showdown title.
you mean Ty Gibbs?
Is that what did I say?
You said Ty Dillon.
Oh, Ty Dillon. Yeah, he's a former champion too. Ty Gibbs. I'm sorry, Ty. We'll get the right Ty involved. Yes, Ty Gibbs. That's who I should have said.
Ty Gibbs and Sam Mayer.
Right.
Of course, those two have been at it. So each driver has, I think, 5 wins on the calendar this year. Ty has 5.
So they do.
Has 5. What is it?
I have some stats here about these two who have gone head-to-head against one another. Would you like to hear them?
Lay them on me.
All right. So between the ARCA Menard Series and the East, both of these drivers are competing for the East Series Championship as well. They have gone head-to-head 15 times here in 2020. Ty has come out ahead 7 times. Sam has come out ahead 5 times. And in those races, they have finished one position away from each other a total of 5 times. Sam has actually finished ahead 3 times in those races to Ty 2 times. And Sam's average finish in those 12 races, 3.5, which is incredible. And Ty's average finish in those races is 3.54. Not too shabby. So these two young men, obviously, very much at the top of their game. And I expect we'll see exactly the same thing when we get out to Memphis. We're looking at those showdown standings. There's 6 points separating Sam Mayer in first and Ty Gibbs in second. That's going to translate to 6 positions on the racetrack. And the last time Sam finished worse than 6th was all the way back in his first start of the season at Phoenix when he was 20th. Other than that, he hasn't finished any lower than 4th all season long. So Ty's going to have to do some work if he wants to steal this championship away from Sam Mayer.
Yeah. Speaking of Sam Mayer, he's been in the headlines a lot lately. Cap off a week that he's had. The Junior Motorsports announcement on I think it was on last Tuesday, and then Thursday goes to Bristol and wins not just the ARCA race but the truck race too. My goodness.
Yeah,
what's it been like to watch this? I got to watch him in Toledo. What has it been like to watch this kid race?
He's got it, man. I mean, both of these two, Ty Gibbs, Sam Mayer, they're both absolutely incredible young talents. To look at Sam, he's won 4 times in the last 7 races. That's pretty incredible. and actually I take that back. He's won 5 times in the last 7 races, because I have a couple of these numbers transposed.
Yeah.
So he's won 5 times in 7 races. That's amazing. And I believe the space of those 5 wins was like 39 days.
Yeah.
5 wins in 39 days. That's
also about like the streak that GMS has kind of been on too. It's like,
yeah, that's something.
Like, I think they've gone like 7 straight weeks where they've won like either the trucks or ARCA. It's just insane what that team has been able to do, and what, and especially what Sam has been able to do. But overall, I mean, the one, we've talked a lot about Sam, we talk a lot about Ty, but there's one team that we really haven't talked about a lot, and we talked to them about early on, and that's Venturini Motorsports.
Yeah.
Where have they been?
They're there, man. They're there. It's it's really hard. I mean, even for a team like Venturini, who has the best of the best, and they've got great relationships with everybody, it's hard to go up against Joe Gibbs Racing, man. I mean, that's a Cup team. They've got access to Cup information. They've got the best of the best. It's hard to go up against GMS. That's a full blown, we can build them from the ground up truck series operation. They also have access to the best of the best. While the Venturinis, again, it's a great organization. I am not taking anything away from them at all, but it's tough to compete against that type of resources when you're a standalone ARCA team. You don't have access to the Cup engineering department right down the hallway, so they're still here. They've won how many times this year, Casey? You tell me, how many races have they won?
Well, they won the first 2 races.
Right.
And then I
think they've won 4 times this year, which is, it's not what they were used to. It's not the 12 races that they won last year, but 4 wins in a year is still a really good season.
Yeah. And Chandler has won twice. Actually, all 3 cars have won.
So actually, they've won 5 times, because Drew Dollar has won this year. So they've won 5 races this year.
Yeah. Another team that's really kind of, that made some noise, DGR Crosley, a 2-car operation. Obviously, Haley Deegan going there this year, of course. We've had Tanner in the series. Of course, Taylor's now in the series. And then, of course, we've seen Thad Moffitt with that team here in and here out. But
Thad will be back at Memphis.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
The Orange Cone breaking some news.
Well, that's not breaking news. That's old news. But Thad will be back at Memphis, which will be good to see. Hold on, I've got to take a picture of something here.
Okay.
I'm still talking though. Yeah, Thad will be back at Memphis, which is great to see. We've missed him. He had a pretty good start to the season. They've just been hunting some funding, and that's been a shame, because Thad is he's someone we definitely love being a part of our series, and I hope he's able to come out and compete up at the front of the field. He's had some really good runs this year, and I hope he's able to come out to Memphis after this little layoff and knock off another top 5 finish and get up there and show these guys he belongs.
Yeah, I mean, so with this year, ARCA has also had the ARCA East series, in which you've had a pleasure of calling, and then you also call the ARCA West races. When you look at, I'll start with the East series. Of course, everyone talks about Sam and Ty, but we've seen the Hattori guys with Max McLaughlin. We've seen the Rev team with Cabery and Nick Sanchez, and then we've seen a lot of these other guys. When you look at the East series, what has that been? What do you think about that, and how has that series gone? Because we've only had 6 races this year.
We've had 6 races, and 2 of them have been combo races with the ARCA Menard series, which wasn't the original plan. I have to tell you, I like the idea of those combo races. I like the fact that you're paying championship points, not only for the ARCA Menards, but for the East series as well. I think that, I don't know. That's something I would like to see a little bit more of next year, just to give those East teams more races on the schedule. I think that's great. I also like to see some of those young drivers. I mean, that's a place we get to see the Chase Cabeys and the Nick Sanchez's and the Parker Retzloffs and the Justin Carrolls. I mean, that's, to me, is fantastic. I think that there's a lot of talent there that, they might not have the funding in place to come out and run 20 races or even run 10 races for the Showdown Championship. So, yeah, I'm a big believer in that East Series, and it gets you to places like, Five Flags this year and Dover. Dover is a great racetrack. New Smyrna back in February, that was a great time. The biggest crowd they've had on a Monday night there in years. So yeah, I'm still a very big believer in that, in the East Series and the West for that matter. I understand. Like I said, Casey, right at the top of our chat here, 2020 has been a challenge for everybody. Car counts are down. We get it. We haven't had many races where we've had fans in the stands. I don't think we've had fans in the stands at a West race since, if we've had it at all. The actual standalone West races, I don't know that we've had. Maybe Vegas in the spring.
Vegas.
Other than that, we haven't had a race with fans in the stands. So it's a very different year. It's really hard to gauge, a lot of things based on what we've seen in 2020. So we're just going to have to get through the season and put a lot of effort into, growing again in 2021. But I'll tell you what, we've got things pointed in a pretty solid direction here.
So the East and West series are not going anywhere.
No, they are not going anywhere, my man.
So let's talk about the West series for a second. I kind of wanted to get in with that. I know the East series, I think, once again, I think Sam's got a 28 point lead, somewhere around there with Ty. Yeah. But the West series, however, it's really, really tight between, the BMR teams and the two Sunrise Fords. So Jesse Love, I think, has a 1 or 2 point lead on Blaine Perkins right now in the ARCA.
It's a little bit bigger than that. Let me go ahead and I actually have that right here. So let me call it up, and I'll let you know exactly what that point lead is right now. It is a 7-point lead going into this weekend's General Tire 150 at the Bull Ring at Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
So what do you think about?
Still tight, man.
It is still tight. What's even tighter is that ARCA Menards Series Championship. Last time I saw, I think I'm correct on this one, where I think Michael Self has a 3-point lead on Brett Holmes. If I'm not,
I will tell you, it is 3 points. Correct.
I knew that I would check. What would it mean? I mean, there's another storyline we haven't talked about yet in ARCA. We got Brett Holmes. Brett Holmes has been in the series for a few years. What would it be like to have, this is a family-run team, and Brett does a lot of other things. Helps.
Busy guy.
And with construction and all that, and I think he's still going to school at Auburn.
Yes.
So what would it mean for him to win the championship? Because that team has gone through a lot of changes in the last year, for Shane Huffman.
When you take into account that 2 years ago they took a break because they just weren't having any success, weren't having any fun, and here they are 2 years later, after 17 starts, 16 top 10 finishes, and 3 points out of the point lead and their first win. I would say they're having a pretty good time, and it would mean a lot. Brett is a championship-winning driver. He's got a championship on his belt at Five Flags Speedway back in the Pro Late Model division a few years ago, and he knows he can get it done. He just needed to get the right people in the right places, and when you look at the fact that they do this all on their own, it's very impressive to see. Here's this little team that could going up against the Venerinis, and blow for blow, he's right there with them. It's really impressive. It's a lot of fun to see, and you couldn't have two championship contenders, I think, who have more respect for one another at this stage in their careers than Michael Self and Brett Holmes do. We saw they got into each other a little bit at Winchester. Brett tried to pass him on the low side in turns 3 and 4, which is really difficult to do. Car jumped out from underneath him, and he drifted up the racetrack a little bit and nudged Michael ever so slightly, and Michael got a little sideways. And I went over to him after the race, and they're talking about it. No one was upset. It was understood that, hey, this was just racing. I'm not out here to try to take you out. And Michael's understanding that, hey, I know you're not out here trying to take me out. They're just out to race. They're both having a good time. I think they're both feeling the pressure a little bit. this would mean a lot to both of them, and they both really, really want it. And, for the rest of us, it just means we get a really good championship battle to sit and watch.
Yeah, 3 races left, including Memphis. We are going dirt track racing after all. Springfield. There was some concern that we wouldn't be able to get that.
Yeah.
And you told me a couple of days ago that both Memphis and Springfield are going to have fans. Is that true?
Correct.
That's big right there. Has ARCA kind of talked about 2021 and what it looks like? Where are we at?
Nope.
All right.
You're not getting anything out of me on that one.
Okay. So, just 3 races to finish off the year. I mean, Saturday you're going to be a busy person because you also call the ARCA East and West races for the Track Pass account. What's that been? First off, what's that been like?
That's a lot of fun. Something I've always wanted to do. I'm really grateful to have the opportunity to do it this year. I've gotten to know all these drivers on the East and West. I am, I'm impartial in that I want everybody to do good. I'm not, cheering for one and cheering against everybody else. I wish everybody would win every week, but I have become a big fan of all of these drivers on the East and the West. Some I think I've maybe gotten a little more attached to than others, simply because I've been around them. Jesse Love, I think Jesse's a great young man. I'm really excited for him. I think he's got a great career ahead of him. He's really proven himself right off the bat here in 2020. Gracie Trotter, I think Gracie's fantastic. To follow in the footsteps of a female driver like Haley Deegan out on the West Coast, Gracie's done just incredible here in her rookie season. Holly Holland, another wonderful young lady that, she's really taken a big step in her career. She's never raced anything like this before. She's run, micro sprints and midgets and, all of that stuff exclusively on dirt. And, she's taken a big step in her career. She's done great. Even, guys like Todd Souza. I've known Todd Souza for 20 years, back when Matt Crafton first came to the Truck Series. Todd was a part of that whole group. And it's great to see him running up front every week. And, Bobby Hillis, Bobby Hillis is another guy, went like 20 years between top 10 finishes. And to be able to call that race when he finally got another one, just great, and you look at, again, some of these kids on the East Series, Max McLaughlin, Nick Sanchez, I've only gotten to see them run 3 actual standalone East races. But I do. I feel like I hate to say this because I know they have families of their own and, I have a family of my own, but I kind of feel like these are my kids, I'm watching them grow up as professional race car drivers, and I get really attached to that, and I want to see them go and do well, just like I did with Sheldon Creed and Christian Eckes the last couple of seasons. These are our former ARCA Menard Series champions, and they've gone on to do, some pretty impressive things in the Truck Series this season. So, yeah, I'm having a great time with it, man.
Yeah. Busy day for you. You're also with
Vegas will be
on the same day, and then
I can't be in 2 places at once, Casey.
I know you can't.
Yeah, I'll be paying pretty close attention to that Memphis race.
Yeah, I bet it's definitely gonna be fun for sure. Just the thing is, because we're gonna have some pretty good champions. So did you also make a bet with Daniel Dye?
I did.
Well, okay. Is it similar to the Sam Mayer bet?
It's similar. Daniel obviously is a guy who's just, kind of at the outset of his career. So we said, hey, you can finish in the top 10, or the top 5. We'll get you some nuggets.
And a Sprite.
Well, if he wants a Sprite, he can get a
Daniel
Sprite.
Dye can't. Well, Daniel Dye's known for having, you got to have a Sprite with him.
Well, if it's his gift card, he can do with it what he wants.
I mean, Sam Mayer spent the gift card.
He did, and Daniel Dye probably will too, but he's got to finish in the top 5 first.
Yeah, no, that there's another team right there.
Hey, did you get Sam his gift card because you were supposed to get him one?
I did not. I did.
All right, I see you got lots of sports memorabilia on your wall back there. That stuff doesn't come cheap, young man. I know you can afford it.
Yeah, I could.
All right, go make it happen.
I'll work on that.
Oh, right.
Right.
I'll say that next time you have a media request. I'll work on that.
Funny.
All right.
Another team like that, of course, another Ben Kennedy Racing.
Right.
Another team that's I think that's only running. I think he ran at New Smyrna. There's another team that possibly could come up the ranks and really do
right. And they spent a lot of time running super late model stuff down in the Florida, area, New Smyrna and whatnot. So it would be great to have them on a more regular basis here with us in the E Series. But again, budgets are what they are, and someone's got to pay for it, man. Everyone needs a sponsor.
Yep. All right, Charlie, thank you so much. This is always a fun time talking with you, and we'll sure to catch up soon. Maybe after a recap of everything ARCA.
You got it, Casey. Appreciate it, bud.